Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, November 27th. Arctic air is now charging across the Great Lakes. It will result in a significant lake effect snow event over the next day or two, just downstream of those still relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes. In fact, some snow showers on Tuesday into Tuesday night can make it all the way down into the I-95 corridor region. That Arctic air mass pushes into the mid-Atlantic region later on today, tonight, and especially during the day on Tuesday and Tuesday night, when the mid-Atlantic region and much of the northeastern states will experience their lowest temperatures of the season so far. It'll be a pretty quick rebound, stays windy and cold on Wednesday, but then moderation will certainly become noticeable throughout the northeastern part of the nation for Thursday and Friday. Very likely could be another rain event coming at the end of the week. Let's go through a few teleconnection indices before we get to the continental U.S. and the local weather maps here from the forecast model of last night that GFS will use from the ZeroZ run. This is a look at the Arctic oscillation, and then we'll take a look at the North Atlantic oscillation. When these two indices drop together into negative territory for a sustained period of time, that generally is correlated with a colder pattern in the eastern states, some high latitude blocking. These two indices will be closely watched over the next few months. In a way, they become increasingly important as we go through the upcoming winter season, certainly during the second half of the winter season. The AO and NAO really give us good signals as to whether or not there's high latitude blocking taking place, and by that I mean higher pressure, higher heights than normal up across Hudson Bay region of Canada, Greenland, Iceland, and all that usually translates into a better chance of cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern U.S. Right here, the black represents where we stand right now, and the red, the forecast. It dives deep into negative territory over the next day or two, and that's really correlated well with this incoming Arctic blast that, again, right now is crossing the Great Lakes, reaches the mid-Atlantic region later on tonight into the day on Tuesday and Tuesday night, and really lasts all the way into Wednesday. Notice that it kind of makes a quick rebound. It doesn't get all the way back up to neutral line, which is right here, but it does climb from those pretty deep negative values here that we can expect over the next couple of days. And now let's take a look at the closely related cousin, the North Atlantic oscillation. And here it is, the NAO index. Pretty similar pattern here, right around the neutral line now, but then it dives over the next couple of days, again correlated well with this Arctic blast coming into the eastern states. Strong cold frontal system passes through today. It's basically a dry front, but immediately behind it there are some snow showers already forming just downstream of those still relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes. And again, like the AO, it tends to quickly rebound back up to the neutral category in the neutral zone here as we go through the first couple of weeks of December. Well, another teleconnection index I like to monitor this time of the year, really any time of the year, is known as the Madden Julian oscillation, the MJO, and it kind of tracks a tropical disturbance that propagates pretty on a regular basis across the tropical region of the globe here. And depending on its current location, there are different phases that we correlate with those locations of that tropical disturbance, and there have been certain patterns that seem to come into play depending on the phase of the MJO and the time of the year. This time of the year, as we head into December, as we head into the winter season, the coldest phases for the central and eastern states tend to be what we call phase 8, 1, and 2. And you notice here, the red is the forecast. Today is the 27th of November here, and we're looking at phase 2 right here. This rotates in a counterclockwise fashion, and it rotates right into phase 3 over the next several days. Friday is December 1st, and then it kind of pushes back into what we call kind of the null area. And basically, the farther away from this central circle here on this kind of a phase diagram, the stronger is the MJO. So it's stronger out here, for example, than it will be or would be inside this circle. So basically what we're seeing here is the rotation of the MJO into a relatively warm phase here over the next several days, and then it becomes less and less important as it becomes weaker and weaker. So bottom line here is this is telling me that this cold shot over the next couple of days will indeed be rather short-lived, and in the eastern states will start to moderate in temperatures probably by Thursday and Friday. And by rotating through phase three here over the next week or two, diminishes the chance for a kind of snowstorm situation in the eastern states. Again, as it rotates back into the null area or in a weak phase, perhaps the chance for snowstorms will increase in the east coastal region, maybe later next week or more than likely going into the following week here. So again, this is telling us that this Arctic outbreak is short-lived, and we will bounce back and get into probably above normal conditions by the end of the week going into the upcoming weekend across the eastern states. Well, let's get back to the continental U.S. and the current weather situation. Again, an Arctic air mass is crossing the Great Lakes today and will certainly produce probably, I guess it's the first significant lake effect snow event of the season so far. And you can see all these winter storm warnings and watches here just downstream of Lake Ontario, just downstream of Lake Erie, and this will actually snow showers have developed already today. This will a threat of lake effect snows will continue throughout the day today, into tonight, and into the day on Tuesday. Places like Cleveland, Erie, all the way to near Buffalo and Syracuse, Watertown, New York. Again, these Great Lakes are still relatively warm compared to what they'll be in another month or two. And when you get that kind of an Arctic air mass flowing over those still relatively warm waters of the eastern Great Lakes, you certainly can dump a lot of snow just downstream. And again, I think there's a chance that some of these snow showers can make their way all the way into the I-95 corridor region late tonight, during the day on Tuesday, into Tuesday evening. So we'll watch for that over the next 6 to 12 hours, even 24 hours or so. Now let's take a look at the ZeroZ run of the GFS. This is the conventional version. We're starting off here with the 850 millibar temperature anomalies as we begin the day here on Monday, November 27th. And look at this, a widespread colder than normal air mass, and also some colder than normal air over the Rocky Mountain states. But we'll push forward here and take a look at the temperatures relative to normal right here. This shade of purple, we're talking about some 20 degrees below normal for this time of the year, and it works its way into the mid-Atlantic region on Tuesday and Tuesday night. Certainly some of the lowest temperatures so far this season are likely later on tomorrow night going into early Wednesday morning in the mid-Atlantic region. Places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, certainly Philly area can get down to 20 degrees, and there will be a strong wind. In fact, the wind really kicks up later on today in the I-95 corridor region from the west-northwest, increasing to 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. That wind will stay strong tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night, obviously resulting in lower wind chill values relative to the actual air temperatures. But again, coldest air mass of the season so far pushes into the mid-Atlantic region for tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, as we detected on those teleconnection indices, especially the MJO, looks like a relatively short-lived Arctic blast here at the beginning of this week. And here we go into the midweek. This is Wednesday. Still hanging on to cold conditions on Wednesday. Still breezy on Wednesday as well along the eastern seaboard. But by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, you start to see that above normal temperature pattern here at the 850 millibar level. Here it is, Friday, December 1st. And again, the AO and the NAO kind of shooting back up from those deep negative territories, and the MJO sliding into that warmer phase, number 3, this time of the year suggests that this current Arctic outbreak will be short-lived and we get above normal by the time we get to the end of the week, into the upcoming weekend. Then we kind of do a back and forth for several more days. Here we are into Sunday, and then into the early part of next week. And again, that MJO kind of sliding through that warmer phase really reduces the chance of any kind of significant snow along the eastern seaboard. Maybe later next week into the following week, getting more and more in towards the middle of December, we'll have some increasing chances here. And here's some colder air starting to show up again relative to normal by the time we get to the middle part of next week. Now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps, and these black lines here represent lines of equal pressure, and the tighter they are, the stronger the winds, and there certainly will be. You can see they're kind of far apart here as we begin the day in the Mid-Atlantic region, the I-95 corridor region, but they tighten up certainly midday and especially later on this afternoon. In other words, those winds will increase in intensity from a west to northwest direction, gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour or so later on today into tonight. And that strong wind pattern will remain throughout the night tonight, throughout the day tomorrow, and through tomorrow night, even into Wednesday across the eastern states, adding to the chill. It'll make lower wind chill values compared to the actual air temperatures, which again, the actual air temperatures will drop to some of the lowest levels so far this season. Now notice, downstream of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, we're seeing some snow bands here showing up. This is later on today into tonight. And again, some of this area downstream of those still relatively warm Great Lakes will see some significant lake effect snows. And again, during the day on Tuesday, here we go into Tuesday morning, and look at that tight pressure grading here. Very, very cold day on Tuesday. And notice some of these snow bands kind of work their way farther to the south and east, and it would not be surprising to me at all if some snow showers make their way all the way into the I-95 corridor region. Really anytime from late tonight through the day on Tuesday. Very strong winds and a very cold night setting up for tomorrow night here into Wednesday morning. It certainly stays cold on Wednesday in the eastern part of the nation. Then significant moderation takes place on Thursday, and then we could end up the week with another rain event here. By the time we get into later Friday night, it could be warm enough for more rain in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. Again, a quick rebound from this Arctic blast. But for now, the coldest air mass of the season so far pushes into the Mid-Atlantic region later today and will be especially noticeable on Tuesday and Tuesday night going into the day on Wednesday. A lot of wind over the next 48 hours or so, and a Great Lakes snow event beginning right now and lasting right into the day on Tuesday. Those still relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes, especially in this case the eastern Great Lakes, will add to the buoyancy, add to the lift in the atmosphere, and produce some significant snow amounts just downstream of Erie and Ontario. That's it for now for ArcfieldWeather.com. This has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.